There's not really an attractive way to walk onto camera like this. I believe there are many things that gives each person their purpose. From the time you're born to the time you die, there's a lot of things that happen. There's a lot of factors that no one can really account for that can affect what your overall mark and purpose in life is. But if you ask me, one of the most important things that gives you purpose as an individual is how you think. The way in which you think and process the world around you is truly what makes you you. I'm going to get onto this hill here. Of course, your purpose is not just how you think. You have to do things to leave a mark on the world, but thought precedes action. Let me say that again, this time on the hill so the world can see me. This was a bad idea. Oh, Lord. Okay, well, this seems to be the highest point I can get to, and I don't even think you can see me, so I'm going to head back down. Where am I? I've made a horrible decision. I found my way out. As an example, if I thought more about the world around me, I would not have done that. So thought precedes action. Think of people who made a huge mark on the world. Was Steve Jobs, George Washington, or something? I don't know. They did great things, but before they did those great things, they thought about doing those things. It's actually interesting if you look into it, because humans are the only species that can think in the way we do. You watching this right now, you are a human, I'm presuming, and that means that you have a certain power of thought. A power not possessed by any other creature on Earth, not any supercomputer can think in the way you do. And it's important to exercise this superpower we have, because the truth is many people are afraid to exercise this ability. Many people don't want to sit alone with their thoughts. They don't like thinking. Do you like my set design? I'm inside right now, and I had to do something, so here's a little picture of the thinker. Thought it went along well with the video. I'm also not putting the backdrop up all the way. Gives it a little character, I guess. So the reason I'm talking about this in this video is because now more than ever, it's really easy to never really think. There's always been a problem with people trying to ignore their thoughts or always trying to fill up on noise. But once again, now more than ever, it's so easy to never have a quiet moment. I'd say that most people my age, including myself, grew up really not having a quiet moment. Even now at my ripe old age of 19, I wake up and I look at my phone. I watch some YouTube videos. Then I get up and do a morning routine while a podcast is playing. Then I get in my car, drive somewhere, and there's music. Like there's never a moment of silence. And not to sit here and say that you need to cut off all instant gratification and social media is a disease. I think that stuff is a little goofy. I'm just here to say you need to value how you think. You need to value time to sit in some quiet and just think, to just reflect, process your thoughts. There's a multitude of reasons why people don't do this, and I've met people personally who say they actively don't want to because when they sit alone with their thoughts, they get sad or they get anxious or something like that. And while I do sympathize with those people, I understand it. To them, I say ignoring a problem like that isn't going to change anything. What will change something is thinking about it, processing it, and then dealing with it. Then there's some problems you can't fix, some stuff you can't control. And in that situation, ignoring it also isn't making it better. You have to process it and then let it go. Ignoring it isn't letting it go. If I have an item on my shelf that I don't like, keeping it on my shelf and acting like it's not there isn't going to change anything. What I need to do is take that item and then choose to get rid of it or keep it. Is this all blown out? Is the exposure too high right now? Then there's people who don't have a specific problem they're ignoring. They're just kind of afraid of boredom. And once again, in 2024, it's really easy to never be bored. Sitting alone with your thoughts can be very boring. It's really not a stimulating activity. And too much boredom is a bad thing. And that's the problem with these guys that say you need to cut off all social media, you need to cut off everything. No instant gratification. That's silly. That's not sustainable. You need to have fun in your life, but there's also a joy that comes from boredom. You need to have some moments that are slow, some moments that are quiet, so that when the things that are fast and loud and awesome and fun and enjoyable, when they happen, I don't know what I'm saying, when they happen, you enjoy them. Apathy's not a tragedy. Boredom's not a crime. If we all sat and thought some more, we'd all have a better time. It's
pretty moody. You know, I'm all for being candid, but I feel like I had to up the production quality a little bit. Being outside's really easy because, you know, it's always gonna look good. It's always gonna sound good, ambient nature, but inside you gotta try a little harder. So boredom's not a crime, and in fact, always being on social media and never being bored kind of is a crime to yourself. If you are always putting something in and never having a quiet moment, you'll reach a point where you don't really know how you feel about things, you don't know how you think, you don't know what this superpower of yours, thinking, even holds. I'm trying so hard to not sound pretentious right now, but it's kind of hard to talk against social media and, you know, not sound like a productivity bro. Many people don't know what their exact purpose is. The thing they are supposed to be doing right now, they don't know it. And I'm gonna throw myself into that category as well. But the truth is, the answer to that question will be found in silence much easier than it's gonna be found in an Instagram reel. You know what they say, the answer isn't in the next Instagram reel. It's in the Instagram reel 360 reels away. So you gotta keep scrolling. And deep down, people know that they enjoy a quiet moment every now and then, even if they don't really think so or they don't process that. Some people might watch a very peaceful or calming video and they really like how it's peaceful, quiet, and calming. Same thing with like a video game. People love Breath of the Wild because it's calming, it's quiet, it's peaceful. And while I agree that stuff is great, it's also a little bit fun. And again, there's an aspect to sitting alone with your thoughts that's supposed to be a little boring. Having a quiet moment, being bored, there's nothing coming in, nothing from an outside source coming into your brain, and that's really where you have to make the thoughts yourself. And once you start making those thoughts yourself, it goes back to the beginning of this video, you've really tapped into that superpower that we as humans have. I'm not here to shame you for watching social media. I watch social media. I'm creating media to go on a social platform right now. What I'm really here to do is just talk about this amazing gift that we have that I think we should be using more. This gift being not only our ability to think as humans, but also the time that we have to use it. You're watching this video right now. That means you have some sort of time to allot to scrolling Instagram, looking at YouTube. That's perfectly fine. But from personal experience, when I use all of my free time to consume some sort of media, social media, or a video game or something, or even a podcast or music, there's never a moment of quiet, and I never really have my own thought. When you spend all of your time on social media, what you're doing is looking at other people's opinions, or looking at something someone else created. And again, that's fine, but when that's all you do, you're not creating your own. And if you take this phenomenon and multiply it by years of time, or for some people my age or younger, you start from the moment they're a young child, they'll have problems knowing what they stand for. It can lead to being unsure of who you are, where you stand on things, where you think you're going in the future. It can cause a lot of problems. I have 100% experienced this. It's why I'm making this video. I've dealt with it, and I've tried to find ways out, and I've found, once again, that silence can be the answer sometimes. Cutting off from constant noise, whether that noise be good and helpful or not good and not helpful, it doesn't really matter. It can always be good to have a quiet moment. You can start to think for yourself, like actually think and form your own opinions on things. You'll learn how you feel about yourself and others. People will look at you differently, and you'll look at yourself differently. So cut off from the noise every now and then. I think we've been given this gift of thought for a reason, and I think we would all benefit from using it and enjoying it a little more. Thanks for watching. You're just so beautiful, aren't you?